Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Experience. And this is part 2 of our conversation with Wendy Hutchinson. She's a Marconics practitioner, and she is going to share with us in part 2 the difference between Marconics 1 and Marconics 2, or do I have that right? The two different kinds of Marconics.
Mm-hmm. So Marconics, as we talked about earlier, is an ascension energetic modality. Mm-hmm. And through the work, we actually raise your vibration. Mm-hmm. And we shed karmic debris that's released. So we have two different things available. One is a Marconics no-touch session, mm-hmm. which basically raises your frequency and vibration to the highest level and brings you into alignment with the unified field. That lasts about 2 weeks. So you have about 2 weeks where your vibration is at its highest, and then it kind of recalibrates down like a good vacation back to your baseline. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The kind of full meal deal is the Marconics recalibration, and that is where we untap all the chakras and pull out 51% of your karmic debris. We reset the chakra spin. And through that, your chakra field expands from what is normally like 18 inches from the body to like 30 feet. It just, all your chakras start to bloom, and then they start to interconnect like gears as they spin in opposite directions.
Wow.
Very fast. So what happens is karmic stuff starts coming in and then it skips off. So you're not creating new karma as you go forward, and you're able to release 51% of your karma back to your inception of your soul. And by doing that, we are removing a lot of karmic stuff that's kind of held you down and held you back. So people who have a recalibration, they feel lighter.
I've had one, people. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Maybe you talk about your experience a little bit, but
I will.
Yeah, what's really powerful about it is you start to completely change energetically. Your DNA starts to change. You start to shift more to a crystalline light body. And you start to get perspective. You start to be able to see things from a higher perspective, like you're up here looking down at something.
Yeah.
This is an example of sitting back and watching things play out on TV, like you're watching TV. You're detached. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you're in a space of detachment, you can respond in a better way.
Yeah.
You're not sucked into the drama. You're not in the fight. People are going to still come and try to trigger you.
Yeah.
But you can recognize it and step back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you can talk a little bit, Nora, since you had a recalibration, about what it was like for you.
Sure. And I've had both, actually. I had, and some people may not know that the no touch can happen from a distance.
Yes.
And the no touch is something that needs to take place in person, right?
Well, you can do a no touch by distance, or in person. If in person, we are able to create space to allow your higher self etheric energy to actually integrate into you physically.
Okay.
I'm in Houston, Texas, so if anybody's around Houston, and we do have practitioners all over the country and different parts of the world, if you can get in front of a practitioner in person, you can have that higher self integration.
And I'll tell you, that's a pretty trippy experience, because when I went for my recalibration in Houston, it was the first session we met, and it was two consecutive days. Mm-hmm. And the first day I had an integration of a higher self that was very fairy-like, as you described, and a very light, playful energy. And then the next day was a very large, intense, powerful energy. And for a couple of days, I will and I'm not saying this happens to everyone, I don't honestly know, but after that session, it was the weirdest thing. I had no thought. Like, usually there's mental chatter, nothing, like cricket. And it was like, it was so strange because my brain is usually just, free flowing stuff constantly. So that was really weird. I was really spacey for a while, but I could really feel my body integrating everything, and it was recalibrating, like totally recalibrating. I missed my flight home. I needed water like crazy. I need tons of water, and I could really feel myself detoxifying. The foods that I want to eat and what I want to put in my body has shifted. And still
everything changes. You start, you come into alignment with yourself.
Yeah. And like, I'll just say from my point of view, like, there's always going to be development. I feel like this has been such a powerful boost to the being that I am. And I know that there's always going to, like, I don't think there's going to be like this, oh, I've arrived, but it's like you get this really powerful energetic bump and access to more. And you feel it. Like I feel it. And so what I want to do and how I want to live my life and those kinds of things just feel amplified, and I feel supported, and I feel
your life starts to expand.
Yes.
And the higher frequency brings the people, opportunities, and situations into your life that resonate with that higher frequency, all driven by you.
Right.
And what happens is your frequency is really high, so there's a quick resonance with what the universe is delivering to you.
Right.
So if your intention, if you're a negative thinker, you're going to get slammed. That stuff's going to be coming back like so fast.
Yes, that, and I think that's a really good point too, because you were saying earlier, like, you get a chance to see from a distance more. And I feel like that it gives you a chance to sort of articulate before you make a bad choice, to make a choice that is probably in your higher, in your highest learning, highest expression. There's just like a distance that happens that allows me to do that. But also, like, if you can still make bad choices.
Oh yeah, we're all human. We all make mistakes, And
it's like, but there's something happening that makes it different. I don't know. It's like, it's easier to sort out the fallout, maybe.
Yeah, I think everybody who has a recalibration is given an opportunity to, well, you have two sessions, so you do have two higher self integrations physically.
So awesome.
Such alignment. And it brings such alignment and clarity.
Yes.
About your life, truth.
Yeah. I have these, like, I have to sometimes trust the information that's coming, and it's helping access other non-physical beings as well. So, like, on the show, the Rockstar Interviews from Beyond that we're doing, we've been interviewing Tom Petty, and Tom Petty is like right there. Like, and I don't think that they're not there. Otherwise, it's just having access and hearing and
well, as you go higher with your frequency, so as your consciousness expands, you go higher with your frequency. It's like, I compare it to like AM radio, FM radio, satellite radio.
Yeah.
People who are in that AM frequency, they hear AM.
Yeah.
Not even aware of what's playing on the FM or satellite station.
Oh, and we
people
know what they're hearing right now in this
FM are not, they don't want to listen to AM.
Yeah.
They want to listen to FM.
Yeah.
Satellite, where we are, is also, it's a different frequency. So every time you raise your frequency, you're starting to expand your consciousness, and the things that resonate with that frequency are going to start to present. And at first, you're going to be like, wow, why am I seeing sacred geometry symbols? Why am I hearing a voice in my head and I'm having a conversation with it, but it's me, but it's not me? I mean, what's that?
So, yeah, talk about the relationship of sacred geometry and that satellite radio level that you're talking about.
Well, all I'm saying is you start to get clues. So when you're on an ascension path, you're following a trail of breadcrumbs. Your guides, your higher selves, God, okay? Or God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, source energy.
Right, right.
They're leading you on your path. When you get into a space of awareness and receptivity, you start to see synchronicities. You start to follow the trail of that synchronicity, and then you meet somebody, and that person unlocks something for you. It's like a treasure hunt, but you have to be looking for the clues.
Yes, yes.
And all of a sudden, all these synchronicities are lining up. All these people are coming into your lives. You're having experiences where you're seeing repeated number sequences, or you're finding a feather, or you're reading a book that leads you to expand your awareness. Maybe you read the 4 Agreements. Maybe you watched a Super Soul Sunday episode with Oprah, and it introduced you to a concept around forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are all the breadcrumbs taking you towards ascension. Every time you make a choice to do something from a higher perspective and show up as your highest and best self, you're ascending. And we need to respect where every single person is on their journey.
That's really well said. Mm-hmm.
We were talking earlier about my experience with the Catholic Church. Now, that was my personal experience. It didn't resonate for me. That doesn't mean that the millions of Catholics around the world aren't following a beautiful and incredible path laid out just for them.
Right.
An experience they chose that enriches their life.
Right.
Them a better version of them.
Right.
And
right.
that is what spiritual mastery is accepting every single person for where they are in their journey.
Yeah.
And that not just their spiritual journey, not just what faith they follow or what color their skin is. I mean, I'm talking about respecting every individual for the experience they chose to have and create for themselves in this lifetime.
Right. And would you agree that gets back to personal worthiness and what people are thinking about themselves too? At the judgment piece. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because when you feel less than, you want to put everyone in their place so you can feel a little better about yourself.
Right. Right.
When you are in a space of sovereignty, authentic power, when you are standing in your power, you have no need to convince anyone to believe what you believe.
Right.
You have the ability to respect everyone for where they are and love them. And the most important thing is you are able to withstand the judgment of everybody around you.
That's a tricky one. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, triggered by it and say, I respect that you feel that way, but I know who I am.
Right. And I think knowing yourself from a place of unconditional love is a huge, I mean, it's like the biggest gift you can give yourself, because it's like,
it's
I don't
huge.
have to have the masks. I don't have to play this game that I've created for myself for any reason. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I on this hamster wheel? What do I really want?
What's difficult is our society wants us to run with the herd. Society wants you to believe what success looks like.
Absolutely.
If you don't believe what society's telling you, how are they going to sell you all this stuff? How are they going to sell you the designer handbag? How are they going to sell you the luxury car? How are they going to sell their financial services?
Right.
It's all money and market driven.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the institutions of our society are decisions that other people made and said, if humanity fits within these boxes, it will run better. And what does running better for them mean? It means control.
Yes. But what happened is when you start to, and I know a lot of your viewers probably can relate to this, when you start to follow your own path, and the herd is running this way and you're running the opposite direction, they're going to tell you that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
because they want conformity. It makes them uncomfortable if you start having ideas of your own.
Right.
Or pursuing a spiritual path. Or shifting your perceptions away from what they've been told and programmed to believe are right.
You'll also get, I'm worried about you. And what else do I get? Oh, I'm worried that you're falling for a bunch of, like, that you're being misled. I'm worried that you're being misled.
Right. Right. Because as soon as you start thinking for yourself and forming your own opinions, that makes people uncomfortable, because all of a sudden they're kind of like, oh, maybe what she's doing is different. So what I'm doing, that's kind of a reflection that what I'm doing is wrong. That's not the case at all.
Right.
Follow your drummer. Follow your path. If you want to run with
it. Yeah, by all means. God bless.
Do it. You know? But there are people like us, Nora, who are on a path of self-discovery.
Yes.
Who are realizing that we have been chasing dreams that aren't our dreams. Yeah. That we're following dogmas and programs that don't resonate with who we are. We're kind of the people who have gone against the grain.
Yeah.
It takes tremendous courage. So if you're on this path of self-mastery, if you're on this path of ascension, of becoming the highest and best version of you, I commend you, because it takes tremendous courage to stand in your truth and let people judge you, because they will, because they want the old person back. I've had people tell me, I want the old Wendy back. Of course you do, because she's the one who kissed your ass and showed up however you wanted me to show up. You know, nobody said, this is so great that you're empowered and you're authentic and you've fully stepped into your sovereign being.
Yeah.
You know, nobody said, that's awesome. They're all like, no, we want you to be who we wanted you to be back then.
Well, and oftentimes when you're awakening, you go through a period of letting go and grief, and there's anger in grief. There's that to move beyond. It's like, F you people, I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't do it anymore. And that's like, whoa.
Yeah. I read somewhere, like, the ascension process is you have to die to live.
I love that.
You have to die. The old you that pleased everybody around you and ignored your soul and your truth, the old you that just put on all those masks, that person has to die.
Yeah.
And it's a damn painful process.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you are brought to your knees through the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to get up. And that's your wake-up call.
Yeah.
That was my wake-up call when I was like stripped down, like, I don't know how I'm going to survive this situation. And nobody's there. It's you and you alone. And you're just devastated, and everybody runs. They don't want to touch. Nobody wants to touch someone who's imploding.
Yeah.
It's like a disease. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Run.
I want to run. I don't want to. She's a mess, And so you have to literally, part of you has to die in order for you to step onto that path back to yourself.
So when you were going through that hard, dark night of the soul, was there a moment or maybe consecutive moments, something that kept you going?
I had some spiritual practices. I didn't know that that's what it was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I didn't have any construct of what spirituality was, but I had personal practices in place. One was gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
A very strong person around gratitude.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you do to sorry to interrupt you, what are some of the things that make up your gratitude practice?
Well, for one thing, it's perspective. So now, instead of being wounded by things that trigger me, and I don't get triggered that often anymore, but things still happen. Instead of being wounded, I have perspective around it, and I'm like, okay, what's the lesson?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What's my lesson from this?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is it my ego? Is it that I want to be validated?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, what is it?
Right. Can I be grateful for what's happening? How can I find a way of being appreciative of this moment?
Yeah. It's not about the other person. It's about, every single thing is about you.
Right. I love the mirroring that you talk about.
It's a mirror. Every single experience you have, it's a mirror. It's reflecting back at you the one thing you don't want to acknowledge about yourself.
Right. Right.
Maybe you're in a relationship with a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And what's that reflecting back to you? You don't feel worthy enough to stand up and say, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Wait,
you cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, I said, you don't have the courage to stand up and say, this is bullshit. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Me this way.
Yeah.
You're not going to treat me this way. I have more dignity and self-respect.
Yeah.
Lingering around thinking I can't get somebody better and kissing your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about empowerment.
Yes.
And personal empowerment. Ascension is a self-empowering journey back home to yourself.
Yes.
And your truth.
Yeah.
So through Marconics, I'm able to help people because a lot of people can't transcend it on their own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay to get help. Get help if you can.
Yeah. Also, through my coaching, I create perspective for people because people get stuck in a loop of what they're thinking about themselves, and it's always negative. I'm not worthy. I'm not smart enough. I don't deserve that promotion. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve wealth and abundance.
I can't be happy on my own. I have to lean on somebody. What if I never find somebody else? I've been told that I'm not attractive enough to be with somebody else.
That whole story about not being enough is a bullshit story.
It's a bullshit story.
Hold on to this story forever and let it define their whole lives. They're letting a lie.
Yeah.
Something that's completely untrue define their whole life. Maybe your mother told you were fat.
Right.
And you're a size 1.
Right.
You still are trying to get into a size 0.
Right.
Mom told you were fat and you're just running from that.
Right. You're letting someone else's perception prevent you from being your fullness.
Exactly.
Why would we do that? Why would we let people do that? Because
we're programmed. We're programmed like drones. So now it's time to delete that old programming.
Yes.
Delete the old programming. Humanity is evolving. We personally are evolving on a physical level. Our vibrations are rising. The vibration of the planet is rising.
Truly.
And so shifting from the 3D, the third dimension, to higher dimensional realities is about a frequency shift for the planet. It's not an airy-fairy concept.
Yeah.
It's an energetic frequency shift. It's shifting up. The beings who live on this planet, their energetic frequency has to shift up as well. So there's a lot of friction if you're not willing to release these old stories, the old programming, the fear-based behaviors and ideas. If you are not willing to do that, you're going to create a lot of suffering for yourself. And as soon as you release it all and step onto a different path or create a different perspective for yourself, self-awareness, it's all going to go away.
I'm sorry I'm so washed out, people. The sun just came out and now I'm like just this. It's okay. My light is shining. I'm beaming. And that also affects our DNA, right? Like on a cellular DNA level, we are also changing. The energetics also reflect in that. To say
whether you're conscious of it or not. Energetically, we are changing. Our physical bodies are changing because as the frequencies rise for the planet, there's less density.
Yes. Yeah. And that's
so we were very carbon-based beings, that was required. The density was required for us to be anchored to the planet gravitationally.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we're shifting and we're becoming more light beings, higher frequency beings, you're seeing the shift in how people are going to more plant-based diets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people are shifting consciously or unconsciously. People
Right.
are shifting to a more vegetarian diet, a more vegan diet. What people are putting in their bodies is shifting. I think the way people are thinking is shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Political systems are, foundational systems are being rocked to the core.
Yeah.
The sexual scandals that are being brought to light, the Me Too, women standing up in empowerment, the divine feminine is rising.
Right.
There's more balance. There's going to be a different kinds of structures are going to be created from all of this. This is about the shift.
Right. It is so, and it's beautiful and so well said. And so people, like, now is the time. If you're wondering when, now. Why not?
But also, I want to encourage people, this is a journey for you. It's by you, for you, back to you. And this is a journey about you alone.
Yeah.
Do not expect the people around you to change.
Right.
Honor every single person for where they are on their journey. Every single person around you, those people that triggered you, they played their roles perfectly.
Yeah.
You exactly to this point. Thank them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, and watch their expression when you thank them.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a verbal thank you. It's just a forgiveness and expression of love, you know, that you create. It's the intention you create. It doesn't have to be you sitting down and going, hey, thanks for being such an asshole to me. Now, this lesson about myself. It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, I don't think that would be very effective.
But you can say, I love you and forgive you.
Yeah.
And as you go on your journey, as you learn compassion, as you learn forgiveness, as you learn unconditional love, you're giving it, but you're also receiving it. It's a circle. It's a cycle. As you forgive others, you're forgiving yourself. As you love others, you're loving yourself.
And do you feel like when people heal and shift their or heal old patterns, do you feel like it two things, heals the collective and changes the timeline?
Absolutely.
Okay. Say more about that.
We're all connected energetically.
Uh-huh.
We are all connected. So as we come online and become fuller expressions of ourself, our truth, our authenticity, as we live from the heart space and stop living in our minds and just respond in love, the vibration of that goes out and connects to humanity, and it lifts the people around you energetically.
Totally.
Energetic connection. There is a collective consciousness that we can raise, each of us, by being the highest and best version of ourselves. And every time you make a decision, every moment of your life, you are stepping onto a timeline.
Yes.
Are infinite timeline outcome possibilities for your life. Are you going to stay married? Or are you going to get divorced?
Right.
Are you going to beat your kid? Are you going to be loving towards your child? Are you going to put that Twinkie in your mouth? Or are you going to have something that is good for your body?
Right.
It's an opportunity. And every single thing, as insignificant as you think it is, sets you on the timeline that will take you to your future.
Totally. And do you think that it gets easier once that, like, do you feel like there's a momentum that happens the more you raise your vibration and the more you choose higher vibrational choices along the way? Like, there's a momentum that comes with it?
I think that it does get easier. You get more clarity. So if you imagine there are 15 lanes And you're kind of hopping all along those 15, because some days you're really good, some days you're not, some days you're angry, some days you're in a great
You have a little bit of both. You start out good and then it goes.
So you're kind of like running along all these different timeline probabilities. The more focused you get on showing up as your highest and best self with every choice and decision you make, with every response to every situation, those 15 timelines now are coming down to 7. And then you're making more and more better choices. Oh, now they're down to 4. So as you are defining more clearly who you are and aligning more clearly with who you are, all of those timelines start to collapse and fall away that don't serve who you are. And the ones that are aligning are condensing and solidifying until you have become so aligned and standing so firmly in your truth that you step on the timeline that completely aligns with who you are. It's a process and it takes a long time. And it's about mindfulness. Mm-hmm. Being mindful of what you're thinking. What's your motivation behind that Facebook post?
Right. Oh.
What's the motivation behind posting that? Was that to show that you're better than all of us because you got to go to Tahiti? Is that why you posted that? Because you know what? I'm very intuitive and I know that. I'm like, wow. Yeah. I see that. I can see what's behind that post.
Wouldn't it be funny if people actually were writing what they were really intending? Like, look at me, I went to Tahiti. Don't you think I'm awesome?
Yeah.
Please, exactly. Please validate me, please.
But it's really interesting because then I have other friends who are doing incredible adventure trips, but that's who they are, and I'm super excited for them. They're not trying to prove something. They're like, oh my gosh, our hike this year was, in the Swiss Alps or whatever. We were skiing in the Swiss Alps. And I'm like stoked because that's who they are. And that's like right on,
Right. Well, and there's so much we could talk about, and we're going to need to close up here for today.
Yeah.
But I want to encourage everybody to look into Wendy Hutchinson's work. Her website, again, is alinealifecoaching.com. And you can also look up more on Marconics at marconics.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the main Marconic site. I'm just going to spell out my website if that's okay.
Yes, please do.
ALINEA lifecoaching.com, and you can read more about Marconics there and also my life coaching work. And reach out.
Yes, do reach out.
And you have questions or you feel alone, email.
Yeah.
I would love to hear about your journey and where you are and help you. And I've been finding that I am becoming more of a spiritual mentor.
That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. And if you have questions that you want to ask Wendy, you can also ask them directly on the YouTube channel and YouTube page. And I'll put information about how to reach Wendy on the description box below. But please, if you like this, please comment on it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you have other people that you would like to hear more from, please suggest them. And don't forget to subscribe and share widely. So Wendy, thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you, Nora.
I'd love to have you back sometime. We'll catch up. All right. Until next time, everybody, thank you for joining us on The Experience. Have a great day.